Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to manage DNS records using DigitalOcean's API. My name is Slavi Marinov. I'm the founder of Orbisius and QSandbox. We've just released a simple PHP class that allows you to interact with DigitalOcean. We put it here. We have a dedicated page. You can get to it by just typing API, like when you go to Orbisius and then search for API in the search box. It's going to show us the first result. For example, if you're using Let's Encrypt, and more specifically a wildcard DNS, then you need to be able to programmatically add text TXT records so you can verify with Let's Encrypt. That was the primary reason for us developing this code. Let's start with an example. Actually, by the way, when you go to the project here at GitHub, the license, by the way, it's MIT. You can use it very easily. It's free. And there's examples. Only need to include this file, and there's several examples here that you can play with. So let's go to DigitalOcean. I'm logged in, and for this demo, I'm going to be using this domain, and I need to go to API, tokens, generate new token. Most likely there's not space access keys. Generate new token. And by the way, it's super important for you to make sure that the code that is using the token is secure. For example, this could be the code. The PHP code should reside in a root folder of the user, of the administrator user, or the permission have to be super strict, because I've checked with the DigitalOcean support, and the access key has access to everything, and you can delete stuff. Actually, if somebody manages to get to that API key, they can delete a lot of things in your Dropbox account. I'm sorry, DigitalOcean account. So you have to be very, very careful. I'm sure they're going to improve that in the future, but for now, you need to be aware of that. Okay, I'm going to switch. Normally, you would have to go to GitHub and then clone, either download the zip or use this URL to clone the files locally, but since I have a copy of the project here, I don't need to do that. And the first step is to go to the config file and paste that API key. And we can go to the examples, open in terminal. I'm using Windows, so it should open a command prompt, I think. If not, I could use this. That's provided by PHP Storm. Okay, so I've added this API key, and let's go first with the actually let's list the records. In the example, I've included the API call and also the possible result that we could get. What I need to do is I need to type wp-sandbox.org, and to get to it, I need to type PHP examples, and I need DNS/list records. Hit enter, and I've designed the API so it returns, like always, this kind of structure. So message, if there's an error, status could be true or 1 or 0 or false to tell if the request was successful or not, and then data, whatever we've received from the API. And we have an array that has different fields here. You have multiple records, and those records, they are basically the same as those here. Okay, so I have several records here, and I've defined those, and they're pointing right places, and I was able to query those via that API. And with that ID, we can use in future calls. There's DNS records. That's the first one. Actually, that's for the record for the main site. It's at record. That's the wildcard that I've added. And here's an example record. Let's say I could delete this one. I'm going to copy this, and let's go to the delete. I could paste this thing like this and change the domain name to wpsandbox.org, and I'm going to run the file, examples, DNS _ delete. I'm going to hit enter, and we're seeing status true. There's no data and no error. That's good. I'm going to switch to DigitalOcean, and this should be gone. I'm going to refresh, Control R or Command R, and the record is gone. Okay, let's add a new record. Again, I'm going to update this domain. I can put, let's say sys Orbisius, put awesome DigitalOcean integration. Yeah, I need to pass those parameters. I need to define the type of the record that I need created. For example, TXT records will be required if you're using Let's Encrypt. So you're creating or automating a wildcard SSL renewal. Right now, what I do is I regenerate the certificate every 90 days, which is a little bit annoying. If you have multiple servers, that time is going to add up. Okay, so we have everything set up. That's the name, that's the data, that's the record, the domain name, and we need to create it. Okay, examples DNS and add record. I hit enter, and again we get status true, and the data counts as domain record, and we have the ID and additional some defaults that are showing up here. Let's go back to the page here, to the DigitalOcean. I'm going to refresh using Control R or Command R if you're using Mac. And that's the record here, a TST record with some information. So cool. Again, we can delete it. Actually, why not update it? Why not update the record? So I'm going to paste this ID, and we're going to name it some text record, some more test data. Okay. DNS update record. Not found. Okay, why? Because I haven't updated sandbox.org. The record exists, but it has to be linked to that domain name I've entered example, so it doesn't confuse people or people don't send requests to my domain, which would be annoying. I'm gonna run this again, and we're getting a successful message this time. You have the ID, should match this one, and the name and the data has changed. I'm going to refresh again, and this should look differently now. Yep. So nice. And it's time to say goodbye, so we need to delete this record. The domain name is right.wpsandbox.org. By the way, that will be the domain name that people will be using for our sandbox service, which will be wpsandbox.net. Okay, delete record. Go. Delete it. True. And let's refresh again. It should be gone. Yep, it's gone. That's about it. Thanks for watching, and that was the video about how to use DigitalOcean's API to create DNS records. And it was Slavi, founder of Orbisius. And make sure you subscribe, and talk to you soon. Bye.